Oh well, the decision has been made. Big breaking news. Bangladesh have officially boycotted the 2026 T20 World Cup. Bangladesh are not going to come to India, and that is why now they will not be featuring in the T20 World Cup of 2026. So that is why now big development as to what has happened. One, you are now seeing for the first time ever, unprecedented in the history of the T20 World Cup or any ICC event, a team has boycotted it. The government met with the players, the government advisory met with the players about 1 hour back. They then had a meeting. Now the government has gone back, and in the cabinet meeting that is taking place, we can now confirm with certainty that yes, Bangladesh government has announced it will boycott the T20 World Cup, and that is why now Scotland will be the team that will replace Bangladesh because of the rankings.
Siddharth, you and I were just talking minutes back. We were talking about what the possible outcome of this could be. And what were we talking about? We were talking about how when governments are involved, cricket takes a backseat. That is exactly what has happened today. Were you and I not predicting this? Were we not expecting exactly what the outcome of this eventually has turned out to be? Because think about it, elections in Bangladesh are due. And before you go to polls, if the government's already intervened and taken a tough stance, does any government wanting to come back to power change or go back on its word? Absolutely not. It's committing harakiri. It's losing an election even before you fight it. So that's exactly what has happened. Yep. So I'm not surprised. The word miracle was used yesterday.
Yes.
Bangladesh cricket were expecting a miracle to happen. That miracle was never on.
Yep.
That miracle was never on because you allowed your politicians to decide what the future of the game or what the future of the team would be.
Yes. And the future is there.
And now Bangladesh cricket, for all the support that they thought they had from Pakistan, are Pakistan going to be pulling out now? For all the bonhomie that Pakistan cricket was extending or showing, or they were cozying up to the BCB, let's all see. How much of support does the Pakistan Cricket Board now give to Bangladesh? You prop them up saying, okay, we've got your back. You don't go, we don't go. You don't want to go there, you come over, we'll host you matches. We heard all those reports as well. Let's see what is it that Pakistan serve up now.
Why should we even take Pakistan seriously firstly?
You know what has happened? I'll tell you why Pakistan have to be mentioned over here.
Because they're silently laughing away in the corner.
They were never going to backtrack. Bangladesh had made their intention clear. What they were just doing is they were just fanning that volatility. They were just fanning an anti-India sentiment. That's it that Pakistan wanted. They never had it in them to take the decision that Bangladesh are now, because you took that decision in the eye of your millions of voters. You took that decision in the eye of the cricketing world. You had nowhere else to go after you had faffed whatever that you were going around faffing. Is it good for the game? Absolutely not. Yeah. This further polarizes our sport. We talk about global community being polarized. If going by what has happened right now and the fit that Bangladesh cricket has thrown, you're looking at our cricketing world getting polarized as well.
Absolutely. See, now we are now entering a new era of polarizing cricket. So how did this whole situation develop? Okay, if I may be allowed 2 minutes, I'll just give you the entire chronology of how India-Bangladesh relations deteriorated and how this has impacted cricket. Because remember, we are playing a massive game now. This is a massive game where everything that Bangladesh put online, it's curtains for them. I'll tell you. It all began with the revolution that took place in Bangladesh, in which Sheikh Hasina was toppled. Okay, Sheikh Hasina, when she was there in power, India and Bangladesh had maintained cordial relations. But with Sheikh Hasina gone, the interim government that was there under Mohammad Yunus has become virulently anti-India. Okay. Amidst all of that, there were lynchings against the minorities. Minorities were killed in Bangladesh, and that is where the government expressed concern here in India. Now, amidst all of that, IPL governing council and everybody remained silent. And they were conveniently not aware. Neither stakeholders in the IPL, neither the franchisees in the IPL were not aware of it. They signed Mustafizur Rahman. Kolkata Knight Riders signed Mustafizur Rahman for 9.2 crores. But then you heard what the Tripura royal family had to say. Why spend so much on Mustafizur when you had Manisankar Murasing? That we felt at that time was pandering to the audience at that time. But then, looking at the situation in Bangladesh, many people and many entities in India raised their voice like, how could you allow this? How could you allow Bangladesh players to come in at a time when there is so much tension? After that pressure, he was booted out. Mustafizur was left out, and then they said, you cannot, let the 9.2 crores come. But the damage was already done. Citing this, Bangladesh then decided that, okay, we will raise it. We are not traveling to India for the T20 World Cup. Citing the Mustafizur issue. ICC's independent advisors had stated, security advisors, that the threat level is medium to low. But Bangladesh misinterpreted their own thing under pressure from the government because they have an anti-India stance currently. And it led to the ICC unanimously voting that if Bangladesh don't travel to India, because the logistics were already done, it was too late to change. They voted unanimously with only Pakistan getting the vote for Bangladesh. But then one day was given, that one day is elapsed. Bangladesh have been booted out of the T20
Bangladesh
World
have
Cup.
no idea how much harm they've done to themselves. Absolutely no idea about the harm that the BCB, again, this is the problem with, and I'm sorry to use that word, but this is the problem with both East and West Pakistan.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, they may be split now, but their behavior is the same. Short-sighted, no vision at all, and self-depreciating.
Self-depreciating, it is economic harakiri and economic suicide.
There is so much of meltdown anyway in the nation. Cricket, one thing we know about the subcontinent is cricket is a unifying force. India has built itself on cricket. So much of Indian sporting economy depends upon cricket. Without cricket, there is no sporting economy. There's so much that's wrong with our nation as well. There's so much more that is wrong with our neighbors. Cricket becomes extremely important in that case. And what have the politicians done here? They have torn open the game.
Yeah,
They have just, they put Bangladesh cricket in a place where they will find hard to come out of, because now, by the way, Siddharth, this is Bangladesh's decision to pull out. ICC may very well come up with sanctions as well.
Yes.
Think about the loss of revenue, think about the loss of talent, think about loss of tourism, so much and so forth. So, all I want to say is, this is what happens when you don't put the game first.
You don't put the game first. You never put the game first.
And
I mean,
even today, that consultation that you were talking about, that the government officials, the cabinet, some members of the cabinet went with the players. They wanted to understand what the players feel. Also explain to them the security threat that the perceived security threat that their agencies may have told them, the so-called security threat, I must also say.
yeah.
Because we've all seen what the ICC has had to say about the security threat. Now, in all of this, the players, from what I'm picking, have also said or did tell the government that yes, we want to go ahead and play. Because it's not about their bread and butter, but this is about their future as well. And this is about their desire to represent their country too. So there were players, and this takes me back to the time where the BCB was divided.
Yeah.
Nasmul Islam was booted out because of his controversial comments.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But even then, before he became the Karta Dharta of the BCB and was making all these comments and taking all these decisions as the director of cricket for Bangladesh, Bangladesh cricket was at that time also divided.
Yeah.
That hard-line stance that Bangladesh cricket had taken, and Nazmul was then screaming on the top of his lungs.
Yeah.
That whole hardline stance. Even then, there were those, including former players and other stakeholders in the game, who were not completely on board with this hardline stance that Bangladesh cricket adopted.
Now it doesn't matter. See, the game in this particular era in the subcontinent, it has never been about the players. It's all about politician and political parties' egos based on certain issues. Now, what is going to be the economic harakiri that Bangladesh have committed? Firstly, Whatever revenue they were supposed to get from the ICC T20 World Cup, gone. IPL will now not register Bangladesh players at all. They will fall in the same bracket as Pakistan. Now you are not going to see India tour Bangladesh, because it was supposed to be September, October.
August tour is not happening at all now.
Absolutely.
Forget about it.
Then Bangladesh will not be allowed to come to India.
Yeah.
So bilaterally look at how the cricket bilateral thing is done between India and Bangladesh. So Bangladesh will be in the same bracket as Pakistan is when it comes to the IPL. Bilaterally, you're not playing them, you're playing them only in the ICC or multi-nation events. Simple. Bilateral ties between India and Bangladesh are over. Now, two more things.
I was reading about it. Even Indian diplomats have been told over there do not be there with their families anymore.
Yes, they have been asked to go.
Yeah.
Two major things. What happens to the Asia Cup now? Because now in the Asian Council, there is a big split now. Pakistan, Bangladesh on one end, India, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka at the other end.
And now this becomes a scenario where you need to do a lot of lobbying.
Exactly.
India have the financial muscle and so much more to offer. Afghanistan cricket will forever be grateful for the support that it's gotten from Indian authorities, from the Indian government, the BCCI, all of that put together. This is a test of diplomacy as well for all nations. I'd say Asia Cup future, again, it's much like the Champions Trophy future. You never know which way the two tournaments are headed.
Because again, look at it. Champions Trophy 2029 is held in India. You've got that same situation now where Bangladesh and Pakistan will not travel to the country.
And you have an Asia Cup next year.
Yes.
Because you're preparing for the 2027 main World Cup.
Main World Cup. Now, India and Bangladesh are co-hosting the 2031 T20 ODI World Cup. What happens to that now after this development?
That I'd say is a bridge too far right now. Things change. In the world of diplomacy, things change. They don't change quickly though.
Yeah.
They don't change very quickly. Now, the only scenario I see this changing quickly, if at all there is a quick fix to this, is if the government in Bangladesh gets toppled.
Yeah, but I don't think. See, you got an election next month. Asif Nazrul is speaking to the media at this point in time about what.
I have a couple of quotes from him that I can tell our family members right now.
Go ahead.
Three things that need to be known over here. One is Pakistan or Bangladesh, beg your pardon, at the moment feel that their concerns, security concerns at that, have not been addressed by the ICC, the premier cricketing world body.
Correct.
Second thing he said is justice has not been served. Bangladesh feel that they have been hard done by over here.
Yeah.
And the third thing that they've said is we were never going to bow down. We will not bow down on our request, on the fact that there is a security concern. We were never going to bow down from that. And these are the three things I wanted our family members to know. Just tells you what the sentiment over there across the border is. But also at the same time, let's not forget there were players who were part of the meeting today who wanted the games to go ahead.
Yeah, Jakir Ali was there. There was Nazmul Hussain Shanto who was there. Shanto, by the way, is the T20I captain. Okay, not bowing down. Okay, you got a terrible principle, but you're stuck by that principle. Kudos to you. Okay. Justice has not been served. You chose to alienate relationships with India. You chose to go after minorities there. You chose to commit economic harakiri. And you are now conveniently crying the victim that justice has not been done. You bought this upon yourself. Bangladesh, just like Pakistan, have bought it upon themselves. You know, this is where if Bangladesh come out of that, what they say, frog in the well, if they come out of that thinking, you will realize the heavy price that you have paid because you were instigated by Pakistan, another rogue entity. You were instigated by Pakistan because you don't have your own thinking and you have conveniently fallen into the trap. Now you have committed economic harakiri that is not going to go away in the next couple of years. I'm sorry. Bangladesh 1-2 players might get selected in the IPL. Fine, doesn't make that much of a difference. But Nazmul Islam, now whatever he said, maybe it might have been derogatory, the players didn't take it too well. But what he said was actually true.
No, but now you see, remember about the compensation bit that he said about the players? What does Bangladesh cricket do about its players now?
Yeah.
Their match fees is gone, tournament fee, everything, whatever they would have gained out of DA, etc., no compensation, because at that time, Nazmul Islam was of the opinion, no, anyway, you guys have not lived up to your potential. Some of you have disappointed for the resources that the country's put into you.
Yeah.
And if the outcome isn't fruitful, that's exactly what he said, that we're not looking to compensate you as well.
Yep. Now, justice has not been done and all our concerns have not been addressed. Okay, you raised at concerns, okay. Where I look at it, even we are to blame. I'll tell you why. If our IPL governing council members and all our BCCI stakeholders did not live in a bubble and understand what was the situation in Bangladesh, before the auction, you could have all had a meeting, or you could have had a meeting with the government, unless the government also did not communicate their stance very cleverly on this or clearly on this. You could have at least proposed, do not include Bangladesh players in the IPL auction. Simple. That meeting, I don't think, in my knowledge, didn't take place. The government also didn't spell out their stance clearly on this.
I 100% agree with you. There is, if you look at the genesis of this whole thing, where did it, the seed was planted at that IPL auction. Before that IPL auction, what had happened? The list was prepared. The long list had about 1,300 players. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Which got trimmed down to 350, and then 9 players were added. Remember?
Yes.
This is what the chronology of events was. IPL teams had to tell the governing council, okay, out of these 1,300, these are the players we're interested in. Then that list was trimmed, and you had 359 players that went to the auction pool. Now, you expect, again, the IPL does not happen with there being cohesion or there being coordination with the government, not just the central government, but the state government as well. It is, for all practical purposes, a national bonanza for 2.5 months. So, with so many things in the past that have been determined by our government, and given the volatility of the situation, the sensitivity of it, where was that coordination between the MHA or the Foreign Ministry and the BCCI? So often we've seen, as recent as the Champions Trophy, as recent as the Asia Cup as well, where the MHA was directly in contact with the BCCI.
Exactly. The government in this entire period have been a silent spectator. They didn't understand the repercussions for this.
All of this could have been avoided.
Exactly.
This whole, what we've seen over here, we've seen, all of this is just tamasha at the end of the day. It's funny that, we were meant to be talking sport in this room. We've talked a lot more than just sport. Because of this very subject, and because of the Asia Cup incidents, and because of the Champions Trophy,
and because of Pahalgam.
Exactly. So all of that put together, Pahalgam was a Pakistan instigation.
Yes.
We know about that. The world knows, there is enough proof for that as well. But all of this, if you were trying to move forward at least and have the game unaffected to as great an extent as possible, then there was only one way of avoiding this whole drama that has happened. This dramabazi could have been avoided if there was proactive sharing of information and coordination between the BCCI and the government. Simply, what did you have to do? There were 7 players from Bangladesh that went to the auction pool. Only one got picked. This whole thing could have been avoided if you had
a clear-cut communication.
If you had removed Bangladesh players. You could have made it as an exception for this year. Now what happens is, what could have been an exception just for one season, you will now have to carry the fallout of this for the subsequent seasons. And I agree with you, possibly that after Pakistan, you will have a second nation which will be blacklisted from the IPL, and that'll be Bangladesh.
Exactly. I mean, see, why we also have to take the fair share of the blame? Because of lack of communication. Our officials, our government doesn't communicate. It's as simple as that. You saw this entire dramabazi. We are here to cover sport, for crying out loud. We want to cover sport. But ever since the Champions Trophy, we have been only covering politics of the field. Because of this India-Pakistan tamasha. Because of what happened in the aftermath of Pahalgam. And we are taking one entity far too seriously in whatever they say. We are taking Pakistan. This Pakistan team has taken Bangladesh on the edge of the cliff, thrown them off the cliff, and now they are happily smiling away.
Yeah.
Because they have also made a point.
Pakistan gave Bangladesh the belief that, okay, if you're showing the intent to jump off the cliff, don't worry, we have you harnessed. Only to know that everything on that harness was already torn.
It was cut. It was already cut.
That was a useless harness that they offered.
Yep.
It was snapped from multiple places.
Exactly.
And look what has happened to Bangladesh. They find themselves in the gorge now.
It's curtains for their cricket. For their cricketers now, it's a long dark tunnel for them. They are not going to get any tours from India. How much ever England tour, how much ever Australia tour, how much ever South Africa tour, it cannot make up for the revenue and the broadcasting that India gets. It can't. Bangladesh don't play so many 3-test or 5-test series. They only play 2-test series max. So that is why now in the WTC, even in the next cycle, they won't play India. Simple. Now, the extreme thing. What if India now pressurizes? Australia, England, South Africa, New Zealand don't tour Bangladesh.
Yeah, Australia are also a team that are bound to tour India. Australia, the same team that are bound to go to Bangladesh the same time that India are slated to go, which is around that
Exactly.
August-September window.
See, if you have to look at what has happened in this, a team has boycotted. And
You're bound to get ICC sanction.
you will. See, Australia last time in the Under-19 World Cup in 2016 did not go to Bangladesh because of a security threat. So they were the last team who didn't go for a major ICC event. Whenever there have been ICC events, a match within that event has gotten cancelled or a walkover because of a security threat. England versus Zimbabwe in 2003, New Zealand versus Kenya in 2003, 1996, Australia and West Indies forfeited their games in Colombo because of that bomb blast. They thought it was unsafe. Australia boycotted the Under-19 World Cup. They didn't go for the Under-19 World Cup because of the security concern that was there. So, this is unprecedented. On their own will, Bangladesh have stated, no way, we are not going to India, because conveniently they want to tie what happened in a domestic T20 league. Let's be very honest, the IPL is a domestic T20 league. Just because it has huge dollars and huge monetary gains, it doesn't make it an international league of sorts. It's strictly a domestic T20 league. You tie it up with an ICC event. Wasn't ICC and IPL two different things altogether? But I understand where the sentiment comes from, because the current mood in Bangladesh is anti-India. Let's make no qualms about it. The current mood in the Bangladesh camp is anti-India in every sense of the way. That's why when Bangladesh released that statement that we will not share that, oh, it was an apology, it was a lapse in concentration in the Under-19 World Cup, I refuse to buy even a single word of it. Bangladesh wanted to make a statement and India kindly obliged in Bulawayo. So the no handshake bit, tensions will persist even in ICC events between India and Bangladesh also. So your neighbors on the western front, neighbors on the eastern front, your relationship has deteriorated. You'll see a split in the Asian Cricket Council. Bangladesh and Pakistan don't want to play any Asia Cup now. Because if they want to say, okay, let be a tri-series, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka and India, let them play. We don't care. That will be the first step. Bangladesh players blacklisted from IPL. Government now, it has now appeased their populace. Now they will go into election and they will come with a resounding majority, and the tensions between India and Bangladesh will escalate from March onwards. February is the election. From March onwards, you already had tense situations with Pakistan. Congratulations, you now have situations with Bangladesh also. So the government again has to learn a lesson the hard way. Indian government, keep your communication channels open. Please keep your communication channels open. Because at one point in time, it will bite you back hard. It's bit you back hard here. You may all want to say, oh, let Bangladesh go. Good riddance to bad rubbish. But for India, I am tempted to say it's a slap in the face.
Why?
A nation that has perceived to have done injustice to, when there was no injustice done, they have decided to pull out of a marquee ICC event.
And done themselves harm already, Siddharth.
And India, the financial powerhouse,
See,
did not
No, this is where I disagree with you.
Okay.
I think the real slap, as you say, or the little embarrassment for India would have been had the ICC actually moved out Bangladesh's matches from here to Sri Lanka. That would have been an embarrassment, and then you would have questioned what's in that financial muscle that we so claim that has no power in it. That would have then been a question for the BCCI to answer. At the moment, though, I feel that ultimately you cannot drag a nation out of their territory and come to India to play the World Cup, especially when the government is involved. So I believe BCCI would feel very much at ease about this because they've still got things done their way. What the BCCI would have relentlessly tried and ensure, even though nobody from the BCCI has come forward and they said ICC tournament, they would welcome, we're getting all arrangements done right and we follow whatever the ICC tells us. This is what we've heard from the BCCI. What the BCCI behind the door could have done, not that I'm aware of it, could have done, I'm saying, is ensure so that their perception in the world about the cricketing world, about the financial might, the stature that the BCCI has, that enough strings are pulled to ensure that these matches are not taken away from India.
Yeah.
India, it's a loss of revenue for India as well. Remember, if 4 matches that Bangladesh was to play here,
3 in Kolkata, 1 in Mumbai.
The other way around. No, you're right.
3 in Kolkata, 1 in Mumbai.
3 in Kolkata, 1 in Mumbai. Then that would have been a loss of money. That would have been a loss of a damage to identity. And yeah, that would have left people questioning about this hollow might that the BCCI have, or would have said that this is all hollow. But none of that has happened now.
Yeah.
BCCI continue to maintain their thing that okay, Bangladesh are not coming. We're right here. We had those matches, and now those matches will take place with the new team,
Scotland.
Yeah.
Because in the latest rankings, when you look at it, if one team pulls out, in the case of Bangladesh, the team that was below them in the ranking is Scotland.
I think this has to do with the qualifier, Siddharth. Excuse me. I was just looking at the rankings. I think Scotland are number 14 on the T20 rankings. Bangladesh are 9.
Okay.
However, Scotland go through because you have so many of the associate nations who come into the tournament basis your qualifiers that took place. In the qualification, they were the team right behind, I think, Namibia.
Scotland, and also when you look at it, Italy, they missed out from the European leg of the qualification.
Yeah, so they were there. They were there. They were the next team. Let's say 1 and 2 qualified and 3 qualified. So number 3 was Scotland. So they missed the bus by that. And now you have through the qualifier route the team that just missed the bus. It's going to be Scotland that you will see.
So Scotland will play 3 games in Kolkata, 1 in Mumbai, in that group where Bangladesh was supposed to be. So all the talk, what began in the meeting that Bangladesh wanted a hybrid model, they wanted to play all the games in Sri Lanka, outright rejected. They wanted to be shifted to another group so that they could play their games in Sri Lanka. But Cricket Ireland's statement that ICC have been firm that Ireland don't have to change their venues. Yeah. And it was rather unfair. Why should one team pay the damage for another team's misdemeanors?
Siddharth, 4 teams.
Yeah.
4 teams. Bangladesh was supposed to play 4 matches here. So 4 teams that would have prepared in the group stage to be playing their matches in India suddenly are being told because of political intervention in Bangladesh and there being security clearances that the ICC and security assurance that ICC is giving. Why will you ask those 4 teams to move to Sri Lanka, play their matches there in conditions that they've not been preparing for? How unfair is that? Yeah. That too you're giving just over a 3-week, 4-week sort of a duration. Yes. All of this started with a month to go, a little over a month to go for the first game, and look where we are. 4th of January came this request. By the 7th, that letter was shot. By the 10th, another letter was shot. By the 14th, you had the ICC reject the first time. By the 17th, another time, and now finally an ultimatum was given on the 19th, and today we are.
It's done.
It's done.
It's the end game at this point in time. So Bangladesh were in Group C with England, Italy, Nepal, and West Indies. Now that will be replaced by Scotland. So it will be Scotland, England, Italy, Nepal, West Indies. That is going to be the situation that is there at this point in time. So Bangladesh have been booted out. But again, look at it. Where I'm looking at it is, see, India are the economic superpower in cricket. They could have had a stance and not played either the Asia Cup or in a hybrid model in an ICC event, like the Champions Trophy. Because it would have sent a statement. It would have humiliated Pakistan also. But you want to play them. You want to ensure you get in all the big bucks and all
this
that.
is also because what Pakistan were doing was they were fighting a proxy war.
Yes.
But they made it a cold war of sorts.
Yeah.
They used Bangladesh were used by Pakistan as a pawn.
Yes.
You know, they were the first line of defense.
Yep.
And they stuck to their guns in a way.
Yeah, and despite using that pawn, I'm sorry, it did not yield any kind of a checkmate for India or the ICC at this point in time. So it is a terrible, terrible situation. I mean, now it is only going to ensure that further ICC events, when India are hosting it or Bangladesh are hosting it or any other team in South Asia is hosting it, barring Sri Lanka.
Just be prepared for frosty times in world cricket.
Yeah.
This is going to lead, if you think that the BCCI is not going to be pulling strings and getting the ECB, Cricket Australia and the others to perhaps not visit Bangladesh, then I think you're naive. I think the BCCI will not just keep will keep its eyes and ears shut over here. They were the hosts, remember, and this becomes a matter of ego as well at some point. So I do expect the BCCI to also, maybe not right now, but sometime in the future, the BCCI, I do expect it to be pulling strings and that split in the cricketing world, the polarization we're talking about. Just be ready for frosty times.
Just be ready for frosty times. And again, if the ICC wants to learn and avoid all this harakiri, do not keep any major events in South Asia. Please don't. Because
your calendar is already sorted at 2031.
Yeah, but then now you can make changes also to that. Because look, 2031, as you said, is a bridge too far. What will happen to the CT in 2029? Again, a repeat of what happened in 25. Again, it's going to happen. 2031, India, Bangladesh are co-hosting it. How do you see that happening if the frosty ties continue? Our government is in power for 4 or 5 years. If they come now, they are there until 2031. How on earth are you going to see that happen? Unless there is no revolution again in Bangladesh at that point. So yes, it's curtains for Bangladesh. They have boycotted the T20 World Cup, and Scotland are going to come in their place.
What Siddharth and I are going to do is, of course, we see quite a lot of your comments, but we won't take them right now. In all likelihood, today's discussion at the dugout will be about the changing order in world cricket. Nikhil will be joining us here in the studio for that as well. So we'll take some of these questions at that time.
Yeah.
See you guys at 6:30. There's more things that we want to prepare for you guys before we join you for the dugout. So for the time being, Siddharth and I will take your leave. It's not Nandri yet. It's going to be a long night also, perhaps. We're still waiting for official words to come out of the ICC. ICC still haven't officially told us that Bangladesh are out, Scotland are in. So those things still have to happen. Who knows? We might just get a reaction from the BCCI as well. So Siddharth and I are going to go scrape the surface, see what is it that we can find for you guys. And we'll see you guys at 6:30 with Nikhil at the dugout.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.